从经典演说当中练习正确的发音这个乔治布希小布希第二任总统就职演说，我们这下期我们念慢一点就是注意一下咬字发音还有断句就哪里该停哪里不该停，还有抑扬顿挫。Second inaugural address to George W. Bush, January 20th, 2005. Today, I also speak anew to my fellow citizens. From all of you, I have asked patience in the hard task of securing America, which we have granted in good measure. Now our country has accepted obligations that are difficult to fulfill and would be dishonorable to abandon. Yet because we have acted in the great liberating tradition of this nation, tens of millions have achieved their freedom. And as hope kindles hope, millions more will find it. By our efforts, we have lit fire as well, a fire in the minds of men. It warned those who felt its power. It burned those who fight its progress. And one day this untamed fire of freedom will reach the darkest corners of our world. A few Americans have accepted the hardest duties in this cause. In the quiet work of intelligence and diplomacy, the idealistic work of helping raise up free governments, the dangerous and necessary work of fighting our enemies. Some have shown their devotion to our country in deaths that honor their whole lives, and we will always honor their names and their sacrifice. All the Americans have witnessed this idealism as sung for the first time. I'd ask your youngster citizens to believe the evidence of our eyes. You have seen duty and allegiance in the determined faces of our soldiers. You have seen that life is fragile, and evil is real, and courage triumphs. Make the choice to serve in a cause larger than your wants, larger than yourself, and in your days you will add not just to the wealth of a country, but to its character. America has need of idealism and courage because we have essential work at home, the unfinished work of American freedom. In a world moving toward liberty, we are determined to show the meaning and promise of liberty. In America's ideal of freedom, citizens find the dignity and security of economic independence, a state of laboring on the age of substance. This is the broader definition of liberty that motivated the Homestead Act, the Social Security Act, and the GI Bill of Rights. And now we will extend this vision by reforming great institutions to serve the needs of our time. To give every American a stake in the promise and future of our country. We will bring higher standards to our schools and build an ownership society. We will widen the ownership of homes and business, retirement savings, and health insurance, preparing our people for the challenges of life in a free society. By making every citizen an urgent agent of his or her own destiny, we will give our fellow Americans greater freedom from want and fear, and make our society more prosperous and just and equal. In America's ideal of freedom, the public interest depends on private character, on integrity and tolerance toward others, and the rule of conscience in our own lives. Self-government relies in the end on the governing of the self. The edifice of character is built in families, supported by communities with standards, and sustained in our national life by the truths of Sinai, the Sermon on the Mount, the words of Quran, and the very faces of our people. America has moved forward in every generation by reaffirming all that is good and true that it came before. Ideas of justice and conduct that are the same yesterday, today, and forever. In America's ideal freedom, the exile's rights is ennobled by service and mercy, and the heart for the weak. Liberty for all does not mean independence from one another. Our nation relies on men and women who look after a neighbor and surrounded or lost with love. Americans at our best value the life we see in one another, and must always remember that even the unwanted have worth. And our country must abandon all the habits of racism, because we cannot carry the message of freedom and the baggage of bigotry at the same time. From the perspective of a single day, including this day of dedication, the issues and questions before our country are many. From the viewpoint of centuries, the questions that come to us are narrow and few. Did our generation advance the cause of freedom? And did our character bring credit to that cause? These questions that judge us also united us, because Americans at every party and background, Americans by choice and by birth, are bound to one another in the cause of freedom. We have known divisions, which must be healed to move forward in greater purposes, and our strive in good faith to heal them. Yet those divisions do not define America. Without the unity and fellowship of our nation, when freedom came under attack, and our response came like a single hand over a single heart. And we can feel the same unity and pride whenever American acts for good, and the victims of disaster are given hope, and unjust encounter justice, and the captives are set free. We go forward with complete confidence in the eventual triumph of freedom, not because history runs on the wheels of inevitability. It is human choices that move the events, not because we consider ourselves the chosen nation. God moves and chooses as He wills. We have confidence because freedom is the permanent hope of mankind, the hunger in dark places, the longing of the soul. When our founders declared a new order of the ages, when soldiers die in wave upon wave for union based on liberty, when citizens march in peaceful outrage under the banner of freedom now, they were acting on an ancient hope that is meant to be fulfilled. History has an ebb and flow of justice, but history also has a visible direction, set by liberty and the author of liberty. When the Declaration of Independence was first read in public, and the Liberty Bell was sounded in a celebration, a witness said, "It ran as if it meant something. And all time it means something still. America, in this young century, proclaims liberty throughout all the world, and to all the inhabitants thereof. Renewed in our strength, tested but not weary, we are ready for the greatest achievements in the history of freedom." May God bless you, and may He watch over the United States of America. 这集念到这里。